Python data types, and Python will be seeing Python literals also. So this is the second session. In the first session I have told about Python, how Python executes. Python is made on C language. When we do any Python library call, first it interacts with the C language, and then C talks to the hardware and the kernel. So it's always related to your C library. So memory is also allocated. That is very similar to the C fashion. So we can again rewind it. Python environment in Windows, Mac. So you have to just download Python, latest Python. It's always better. So 3.7, 3.5, 3.6, you can download it and install. So also add that Python interpreter in environment variable, so that when you type Python command, it will be executable. So it should not show that the Python command is not present. So Python interpreter is completely C based, and Python language, you can see it is first interacting with C and then to hardware. So Python data scientist has come up with a lot of libraries, so it's making our work very easy. We are just using these libraries to get our things done. In Python, it's about Python memory. I have already explained you, like integer objects are managed differently within the heap and the strings. Python execution. So generally, we how we execute in command line is Python, and then program name.py. I'll also show you the ID, how to use PyCharm and other IDs. In that, you have to configure the interpreter path and all. So that should be very easy for the guys who are doing programming, who have started, who are in software field. So this is the first line which we give generally in all the scripting language when we work on Unix and Mac based system. So this will be the path where this is the file system path where Python is located. It can be Python 3 also. If we are using Python, just type Python and then you'll come to know what is the version. So I'm using 3.7.3. It might be different for your system if you have installed it previously. If you are using a different version of Python on the same system, you have to use virtual environment. So better, when you are a beginner, you install a single version of Python. Either you install 3.7, 2.7 or 3.5. It should not be multiple. Later you install different version and you can use virtual environment to switch between one version of Python to different version, 3.7 to 3.5, 3.5 to 2.7. Right now let's use only one version, so I am using 3.7.3. So if this Python command is throwing error, then you have to check whether it is added in your environment variable. Okay, so let's come out from this. So it's Mac system, so this is the path where Python is existing. If you are using Windows, it might be in different directory. It might be in C, program files, software, Python. So you have to add that path in environment variable, and then maybe you have to restart your command prompt. You have to provide, you have to type this command. If it is working, then you have to give a file name, something like this, and then you have to execute. Okay, so Python execution. So I have already explained to you people. I am just rewinding that, revising that. Python, how to create a Python compiled file. As we know that Python compiled files are also possible because Python is an interpreted language, but with the help of C language we can compile it. We can get the compiled file. For example, if you want to send your files, executable files, to your friend computer or the client computer, you can compile it and then send, so that they should not see the source code and they can be able to execute the file for their purpose. So in this session, we'll see what are the different data types we used in Python. So Python is basically intelligent language. It doesn't need data type to be specified by programmer. For example, in C, we provide something like int a to declare integer, float b, and then b equal to something 2.2.3, something like that. But in Python, no need to provide all this thing. Python is very intelligent. It knows like what you want to do, what kind of data you are declaring. So let's see in the program. So in this program you can see that 5.2 we are just importing one module. So Python, as I have already explained that Python structure, first we have to import the modules. It's like include studio.h, include string.h. It's just including the header file. So here we are importing the modules. So these modules are located in the standard directories of Python library. And then here we are assigning var equal to 5.2. So we are not saying that float var, we are just saying var equal to 5.2. Okay, so it's let me give a comment. There is no need of writing float var equal to 5.2. It will understand. Then type, if you want to print the type of the variable, you can do print type var. Then var2 equal to world. Then Python will understand. Python will understand that this var2 is a string. Python will understand that var is a float. Wherefore Python will understand that var4 is a float, because result will be say 6 divided by 7, something like 0.9 or something like that, 0.85. Wherefore then you are just inputting. So that will see later. First I'll explain this part. So just execute. So hello, and so it's the type is float, where I am giving type. Okay, so let's see type. So I am just printing the type of this variable is float. Then it is okay, this is just a print statement. And then var3 is var plus var2. So var plus var2. So I have to typecast to string, because if I will not typecast, we cannot add float and string, both should be a string. So that's why I am typecasting it here. So I'll do one thing, var3 equal to var plus var2. Now let's see the result. It should throw error, unsupported. So we are seeing some exception, so that's why we have to provide. So let's move this statement to okay. Type cast needed to convert both variable to same data type. If one is integer, other should be also integer. If one is float, other should be also float, to add that. Okay, then var4 printing var4 is 0.85, as I told. So it's a float. Python is understanding that it's a float. I'll also provide the link of this. I can also provide the link of this programs to you. F6 input. Okay, I can show you one more magic. That is var5 equal to var var5 equal to 5.2 var 6 equal to 6 dot 3, var 7 equal to var 5 plus var 6. Guess the output. Var 6 print var 7. 7 is var 7. So in C we use printf and then we put semicolon, but in Python indentation is important. That also I'll show you. Where 7 is 11.5, so it's adding both float number. So indentation is important. If I'll give a space here, then it will understand that this var2 is in some loop or something else, but loop, we are not providing any loop here, so it will throw error. So an unexpected indent, so it should, code should be indented. If we are providing no space for all, we have to maintain it here. If we are providing one space here, we have to provide in all the lines, we have to provide one space. If we are providing tab for one thing, then we have to provide the same thing, tab, for all the lines. Okay, so for example, if I am using for loop here, for w in var 2, I'm just giving an example for w in var 2, and then sorry, for w in var 2, and then give a tab, or if you are giving one space, maintain that, then print yes. So same thing, print still in loop. So you have to maintain that. If we are giving one single space, all maintain that. If we have given tab, we have to also give tab in the second one. Yes, still in loop, still in loop, it's showing. Okay, I'm just giving example. Later we'll see the loop concept. So if I'll give one, for example, if I am giving tab here and one space in, so it will throw error, indentation error, as you can see. So I have to maintain that. Also give tab here. So now it is, Python is understanding that okay, both is inside a loop. So just comment it out first, it's not needed now. Okay, so data type concept is similar. That Python will be able to understand whatever you are declaring. If something var equal to 9, then it is an integer. Var equal to hello, then it's an integer. Sorry, it's a string. So a string you have to provide quotes. So var to here, it's a string because we have provided quotes here. If we are not providing any quotes, it will again think world is a another variable. See, world is not defined. So if we are not providing any single quotes or double quotes, it will be treated as a variable. So it will again ask where it is defined. So it is thinking that world should be something like this. World equal to something like this, earth, then it's fine, sir. Okay, now how to take arguments in Python. Sys.argv1, sys.argv2, and in C we use argv of 0 and 1. So here only difference is we are using object concept. This is a module, so it's treated as, everything in Python is treated as object. So we know that in object oriented, we how we access the function as object name dot function name. Then we are providing two numbers as argument, two numbers 3 and 4 as argument, and we are again entering a number from the keyboard. sum is, let's provide some message here. Sum is sum of arguments is, looks better. Sum of arguments is 7 3 plus 4. And then how to take input from the keyboard. Input var equal to input enter a number. In different version of Python it can be raw underscore input. In 2.7 I think raw underscore input, but I am using 3.7. so it's asking for, it will ask for in keyboard input. And then literals, string literals, numeric literals, boolean literals, dictionary literals, tuple literals. There are different kind of literals to represent a string. So if we want to, for example, if we want to print some multi-line comments, then we have to use these three quotes. Okay, so if we'll print test, it will print these multiple lines. In some programs you have seen that there is a very large message. If you want to documentation kind of thing, then you have to use triple quotes. These are called literals. Single quotes, who was that person or new one. So a string can also be represented, string can also be enclosed using single quotes and double quotes. So if we are providing double quotes inside, so this and this single quote is making sure that okay, this whole sentence is enclosed in these two. Then again, from here to here we want to highlight this message, then we have used double quotes. So only to distinguish between these two, it is used. If we'll not use that, for example, if somebody is confused and they are again using this double quotes, then again it is a confusion that which string is where, and it might throw error. End of line scanning string. So single quotes to avoid confusion. Basically in one line, if somebody will ask me like how why this is used, then I'll say to avoid confusion. Again here we are representing height varies from 5 inch to 3 inch, 5 feet to 3 feet, something like that. Then we have to provide, because again Python will think that okay, now this is okay that I have double quotes here and here, so this is my full message. Python understands. If there is anything, any deviation from this, something like that, then it's very difficult for Python to understand where is my main message. Okay, so provide this. And then escaping. So again there is now Python will confuse badly, because here you have used double quotes and single quotes to differentiate between which is the main message and where my message is ending. But we have nested double quotes, then we have to escape it. So escaping means we are saying telling Python that okay, don't consider this quotes, otherwise Python will end the message here only. Python will think this is my message, this backslash only is my message. So we have to give a backslash to say, tell Python that okay, don't end the message here, please ignore this quotes. So for Python this is the message. Okay, again 3 double quotes or 3 single quotes for multiple lines. So in the here we have seen that 3 double quotes, so it's a similar. Raw strings, so we are giving R here for raw strings. Okay, just give some message. Raw string is here also same thing. You have to, if you are printing something like that, you can give something like that. But let's follow. UST is okay. So let's see. Who was that person? So here it was single quote, so it is printing as full message, highlighting this is the main, this is the message which we need to highlight. Height varies from 5 feet to 3 feet. Okay, that's a pretty good. Say it is personal assistant. So again, this one string can go several times. Raw string means print as it is, whatever. So it is not ignoring this slash backslash. So it is printing as it is, raw. Hey, how are you, Windows path? Now I am here. So just see. Okay, you can now see eq string, that's a pretty good. So eq string is, that's pretty good, it's printing the code. It is just ignoring that backslash, but in raw string it is also printing that backslash. Okay, and then we have boolean literals. So we, if we want to convert this to this is our binary, we want to convert this to decimal, then we have to put 0b, then hexadecimal is 0x. So we are printing that. So 10 print, so 10 is printed here, and hexadecimal a, we know that a is for a represents hexadecimal, so we want to print the decimal value actually. So this is for boolean and this is for hexadecimal. 0b for boolean, 0x for hexadecimal. You can see the table. So just string literals, numeric literals, all those literals to represent, to make it very very easy, simple to display the number, display the string. If we are using multiple string, nested string, comma, some other symbols, so we are bound to use string literals, numeric literals, all those literals, so we can represent the data structure. So thanks for this session. Okay, we'll be continuing the session. We'll go more deep into Python virtual environment, less tuples and all those things. Thanks.